Hi and welcome to The Winning Factor. I'm Alan Aitken, and on this show each week we look for an element of an upcoming race in Hong Kong that we might look back on later as having led us to the winner. Well, it's Derby Day on Sunday at Sha Tin, and that's the first race we're going to have a look at. Our winning factor here, the stats. Now, before we go to look at the field, I want to put up a graphic of a particularly significant statistic for this race, going back over the last 19 derbies, that is since it switched to 2,000 metres. And in that time, no winner of the derby has finished further back than fourth in their lead-up run, and overwhelmingly they've been last start winners. So now when we do look at the field for the derby, there are 5 here we're going to dismiss on those statistics as they finished out of the top 4 in their lead-up run. The Lane Leading Star, Red Warrior, Harmony Victory, Mr. So-and-so and Ho Ho Khan. And we're going to give a little boost for the 3 who come in as last start winners, Waikuku, Mission Tycoon and Tianchi Monster. Now, because the Derby is a race at level weights, it's more often than not won by a horse that has already achieved quite a bit and is therefore high in the handicap rating. So we're going to go a step further with our stats now, and we're going to have a look at this graphic showing the handicap rating rank of the Derby winners, again, over that last 19 years. And here you can see that 8 of our 19 Derbies have been won by the horse with the best rating from the handicapper, and 14 of them have been in the top 3. So that this year gives us Waikuku, Dark Dream and Furor. Now, we do have a clear public elect in this race in Waikuku. Let's have a look at the race that set him up as the likely favourite for the race. And that was 2 weeks ago, over 1,800 metres at Sha Tin. And what we're showing you on this video is 2 heat maps for this race. One is the leader to leader times for the race, and also the times individually run by Waikuku. Now, as you'll see, the leaders ran along quite strongly in the middle of the race, and for part of that, Waikuku was just sitting back and relaxing. But he made a big surge from the 800 metres to the 400 metres, putting himself in the race and going to the front at the top of the straight and then coasting down to the line, whereas you can see the leaders in the race were stopping. So there's an awful lot to point you in the direction of Waikuku in this race, as we've already seen from a couple of statistics and that outstanding win. But there are remaining 2 queries. One is 2,000 metres, does he run it? And also barrier 14. Well, the first of those, over time we've found, is not really a consideration. In fact, most of the Derby winners over the last 19 years since the race went to 2,000 metres, 13 of them in fact, have won without ever having raced as far as 2,000 metres in their lives before. So I'm discounting that as a consideration. The barrier draw is a little more tricky, because in the last 25 years, over all the 2,000 metre feature races at Sha Tin, only 2 have won from barrier 14. However, both were in the Derby, one previously for Waikuku's trainer, John Size with Fei Fei, and Ambitious Dragon also drew the outside gate. But it's less of an impacting statistic, I think, when we look at the trend of play over those last 19 years, because even though barrier 14 hasn't been any luxury, you can see quite a lot of winners in the double figure draws, so it hasn't been absolutely poison. Part of the reason for that is the way that derbies are often won. Usually it's a horse settling back off the speed, chiming in from the 700 metres around the outside and joining the fray there, where there can actually be a bit of interference on the inside. So being out wide and rolling forward is an advantage. And we've seen that in a lot of derbies over the years, and we saw that with Waikuku in his lead up, so we know he's very capable of doing that. So the tip in race 8, the Hong Kong Derby of 2019, is Waikuku. Our winning factor, the stats. Of course, most punters will land on Waikuku just off his form, but I think that the statistical background gives an extra push for this outstanding young horse. The second race we're going to have a look at on Sunday is race 9, and our winning factor here, the sectionals. Now I think when we look down the field for this race, punters are going to land on 3 or 4 runners in particular. The 2 last start Class 4 winners, Planet Star and Superstar, and 2 horses coming out of defeats in Class 3, Zhang Yin, who really caught the eye despite finishing only 11th to Kingsfield, and Invincible Missile, who didn't have the best of luck behind Right Choice. And mostly I want to concentrate on Invincible Missile and Superstar, who ran on the same day in different races. And we're going to compare their sectional times. Firstly, race 414. Now, this was won by Right Choice. The leaders ran along through the middle of the race, and Invincible Missile didn't get the best of luck in the straight. You'll see him looking for runs all over the place, and he really flashes to the line in the last 100 metres, and probably in different circumstances wins the race. Earlier in the day, things worked out a lot better for Superstar in a Class 4, where he got back into the middle of the field and also produced a big finish, running on strongly to win the race. So they're in different races, different classes. How do we line them up? Well, here are the heat maps for the 2 individual horses, and you can see there Invincible Missile in his race, an above average tempo through the middle of the race, very slow down the home straight in that race, and that really flattered his finish. In the other race, Superstar, carrying 16 pounds more than Invincible Missile did, the first half of his race was quite slow, but you'll see he sustained a very strong run from the 800 metres right to the line, and that won him the event. So he actually ran a second faster the final 400 metres than Invincible Missile did, even though Invincible Missile looks like he's really motoring home at the finish. Now, if we look at the map for Sunday in race 9, both of these horses running on look like they'll be suited. There looks to be quite a bit of speed there from a horse like Planet Star, who likes to lead. Also, we've got Happy Force, who's been leading, Flying Bonus, Circuit Hassler, and possibly even Flying Murty with the blinkers going on him on Sunday. So there looks good speed. That should suit these horses running on. So the tip in race 9, Superstar, his winning factor, the sectionals. They raced on the same day over the same distance in different grades, but I think you can see off those sectionals the performance of Superstar was the superior one, and I think he'll be hitting the line harder than Invincible Missile. Well, that's it from the winning factor this week. Good luck on Derby Day. We'll see you next time.